What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Cards. I'm your host, Zhan. You can check me out all over social platforms at Zhan Morning on most things. Still working on MySpace.
With an email address, you can tap into 20 million other computers on a worldwide system called the Internet.
We're back with another installment of the Monty Gum Wrestling Stars card videos. The cards that are so bad that they're good. That actually should have been the tagline for these cards, but I digress. I do need to point something out on my last video that I did on these. I said that card number 31 was the Junkyard Dog. That's actually not true. That card, in fact, was the June Yard Dog. Of course. How could I miss another Monty Gum error, am I right? Another meme card in this set. And before we jump into part 3, here's just a few reminders of how you can help show your support for this channel and keep these videos going. Easiest thing you can do, and it's free, hit that subscribe button, give me a like, hit the bell icon so you never miss any uploads. That greatly helps the channel grow and reach more people. Speaking of reaching more people, make sure to check out the podcasts I'm involved with, Wrestling with Cards and Worlds Collide. Two great wrestling audio companions to this channel. Links below to those shows, and please subscribe and leave a review on those as well. Again, social links are all below. If you have questions, comments, or you want to shout out, share the video, tag me in it, I'd be happy to retweet it or share it. And from a monetary perspective, because it costs money to buy things to make this channel happen, you can check out Patreon, where you can contribute as little as $1. Trust me, it adds up. I also have an eBay store, and the links below to that as well, where I've got trading cards, collectibles. You can purchase something on there. That money also helps support the show. Or if you just want to buy me a coffee, always stay caffeinated, baby.
Baby, you gotta find out what it's all about.
Card number 41, Gino Hernandez. This is an okay photo of Gino here. Looks again like one of those pictures that was just taken out of a magazine. Gotta love him having that Texas title over his shoulder. What could have been with Gino Hernandez? Good old Terry Taylor, card number 42. This is the first pack pullable card from Mr. Rooster himself.
To prove that to everybody out there, that's exactly what I'll do.
His first actual card was in 1985 All-Stars, which was the magazine wrestling cards. I always just associated this look and this time period with his time in Mid-South Wrestling, but at the same time, I can't get the Red Rooster out of my head.
Take it from the rooster.
Card number 43, Rock and Roll Express, the R&R. Robert Gibson, in this picture, wins the award for the best mustache in the set with this card.
It's really hard for me to talk. I'm upset, I'm nervous, and really upset.
I've always been a huge Rock and Roll Express fan. You just can't go wrong with them. They set the standards for tag team wrestling. Their feud with the Midnight Express is about as good as it gets when it comes to tag team wrestling. Great picture of these two, and I'm sure if they would have had these cards with this image at the gimmick table back in the day, they would have sold as many of these as they did their photos. Billy Jack Haynes and Rickrood. This is one of the first cards to ever feature Rickrood, so I guess this could be considered a first or a rookie card, but that's really up to you and the market. And unfortunately, Roode is one of those guys in wrestling that just doesn't get a lot of cardboard love. I don't know why people really aren't into his cards. Maybe that will change eventually.
What I'd like to have right now.
And as far as Billy Jack Haynes go, just always been a huge fan of his. He was always jacked to the gills. He had that cool hair and that beard.
Everybody here shuts up and lets me talk. Now let's get right to the point.
He just looked like a guy I didn't want to mess with, and you guys know those are the best wrestlers. Card number 45, we've got Billy Jack Haynes and Rick Rude. On the last card, Billy Jack Haynes was given the business to Rick Rude, and now they've reversed roles. Honestly, not really the biggest fan of the image used here. I should have also said that in the previous card. I was talking about the history of Rick Rude and Billy Jack Haynes in cardboard form. Wasn't talking as much about the image. They're okay. Nothing really stood out about either card, though, other than the fact that these are technically, I guess, the first Rick Rude cards. Card 46, AA, Arn Anderson and Brett Sawyer.
You and the assassin tried to put me out of professional wrestling, and I can understand that the reason that you two tried to do it, I don't know why.
Nothing to really write home about with this card other than I think this is the one and only wrestling card to feature Mr. Brett Sawyer, but if you love Arn Anderson, you probably should pick up this card. Card number 47, Carrie Varnerick, Modern Day Warrior. Here we have another Carrie Varnerick card. And it looks like some poor jobber's about to get the Iron Claw from him.
Is Carrie delivering the Iron Claw as only the Varnericks can?
For those of you who aren't as up with wrestling history as you are with maybe the modern product, this wrestling set should tell you just how over Carrie Varnerick was with wrestling fans in the 80s. Not to mention he was always super jacked. He looked like the definition of a pro wrestler. Card number 48, Rick Martel and Nick Bockwinkel, classic AWA feud. I like this card, but for the card itself. I think it's a really cool snapshot in time. I think many of the greatest feuds and talents that really stood atop the AWA in the 80s get lost in the shuffle when we're talking about wrestling history. WWF, Jim Crockett Promotions, NWA, WCW, whatever you want to call them, they seem to overshadow almost everything the AWA did or anything that World Class did. So I wish people would pick up on that, but hey, the world's not over yet, so there's still time for people to learn their wrestling history. Card number 49, Hulk Hogan and Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers rookie card? Who knew? Random pop-up pop culture card here. And I think that's a really cool piece to own. You can't go wrong with Hogan, and put him into anything pop culture, it's probably going to be a win. Card number 50, we've got the Hulkster again and Cyndi Lauper. Here we have more pop culture with the rock and wrestling connection. Believe it or not, though, this isn't the first card to feature Cyndi Lauper and Hulk Hogan or Cyndi Lauper and wrestling. She actually had her own set produced by Topps in 1985. It featured Hulk Hogan and several other wrestlers that were involved with the rock and wrestling connection at that time. This is still a great card and another cool snapshot of pop culture history. The pop culture and the hits keep rolling with Hulkamania. In card 51, we've got Hulk Hogan, Muhammad Ali, and what I think is Liberace? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Talk about mainstream attention right here. It's rare that we get this much celebrity firepower in a single wrestling card, let alone all three of these guys right here on the same card. Not just the same set, the same card. This could actually be one of those investment type cards that does well down the road because of the names you have involved in the same card and the obscurity of this Monty Gum release. Speaking of obscurity, here we have another Monty Gum typical fail.
What's that smell?
We have a scene from Rocky 3 featuring Sylvester Stallone. However, it says Muhammad Ali. It's so bad it's good. It's a must-have own wrestling card. Card number 53, Totally Blanchard. Now this is a wrestling card. You got Tully here looking all busted up, but still bringing home the gold.
And win the match. That's exactly what I do.
Images like this is what got me hooked on wrestling and kind of the mystery and mysticism of wrestling, with all the images like this gracing the cover of wrestling magazines for years. Just guys beat to death, covered in blood. You couldn't wait to see what was in there and who these guys are. Speaking of Tully, as a side note, I love how they're using him in AEW right now, and my hope is that people will go back and find out, oh, well, who's this Totally Blanchard guy? I hear he used to wrestle. And they'll go back on the network or YouTube or whatever, and they'll check out his career. I just, once again, I've said this like 3 times in this video, I wish people would respect and learn more about wrestling history. And I think if they did that, that would also correlate to these classic wrestling card stars, say, that aren't Hogan or Andre or Ric Flair. I think it would boost their popularity and just make more things collectible. Card number 54, Bruno Sammartino and Nikolai Volkov. Card number 55, we've got Bruno Sammartino once again. Just a standard picture here, nothing really spectacular. This probably was taken from a magazine as well, like many others are in this set. Card number 56, we've got more Bruno, this time against Killer Kowalski. More Bruno, that's what we all need in this set. Apparently, Bruno was more over than Hulk Hogan in the mid-80s. Here he is giving Killer Kowalski a fist to the gut, but again, not much else to say about this card. It's Bruno Mania, baby! Here we got Bruno and Johnny Valentine, which is interesting. Geez, we get it. Bruno's over. Okay. I actually like this one for a few different reasons, though. First being Johnny Valentine. I'm sure most of you watching this know Greg the Hammer Valentine. Johnny was his dad.
But I'm a champion that doesn't make mistakes. And
was very popular in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Also, we get another Different hairstyle from Bruno here. Who knew? Bruno was the original Dennis Rodman with all of the hair changes through the 80s and through the same card set. Card number 58, Ric Flair and Kevin Von Erich. More Flair and more Von Erichs. The feud just continues to go in this wrestling card set from Monty Gum. This is a feud you just can't go wrong with though. If you haven't, make sure to go back and watch as much of the Flair Von Erich stuff from World Class as you can. Also, I misspoke. This says Carrie Von Erich, I said Kevin.
I'm so humiliated right now, I'm afraid to turn my back.
But, you know, how am I supposed to know what's right and what's wrong with this Monty Gum set? Half the time, it's Eric Flair or Ric Flair. Who knows? Card number 59, more Ric Flair. For whatever reason, I just really like this card. It reminds me of a classic baseball card for some reason, just given the static headshot. The only thing that would have made this card better is if Flair had his trademark shades on. That's it.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing.
Card number 60, Flair, Dusty. Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, one of the greatest feuds in wrestling history. And yet this card is kind of a letdown. I just really don't care as much for the picture that they used here, but with the names on the card, you know, it's still great. It's a snapshot in wrestling history. Thanks for checking out part 3 of the Monty Gum Wrestling Stars. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the like button, share it with a friend. Click the videos on the screen for more great wrestling card content. We'll see you there.